Welcome to the Takeoff Experience, where I sit down with highly driven people to talk about their journey, their failures, and their successes. If you want to take off in your career, your business, your finances, or your mindset, then this podcast is for you. Welcome back to the Takeoff. Joining us in the booth this week is Tolu, who is a money coach that helps millennial women to stop overspending and to get clarity on their financial goals. I hope you are ready for the gems that are going to be dropped today. How are you doing today, Tolu?
I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's my stag do this week, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm probably not going to post any content in that time. How was work actually for you today?
Work was fine. I had to go into the office in London, so going on the bus and the train in this heat was a bit of a challenge, but it was fine. I'm not going to complain because we've been asking for sunshine for a long time, so now that it's here, I'm just going to embrace it.
Yeah. Exactly, right. I was gonna say that as well. Like, it's funny, right? We complain that it's too hot, we complain that it's too cold, but it's nice to finally be having some good weather after such a cold season.
Exactly.
So I always start the podcast with this question: what is your worst financial mistake?
Oh, my worst financial mistake beyond me getting into all that debt. Oh gosh. My worst financial mistake. Oh, do you know what? One that I made, which I'm always telling people about now, is not paying into my pension. I opted out of my employer pension for many, many years and missed out on a lot of free money. So that was a really big financial mistake that I made in my 20s, which I regret.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you know what's funny, right? Like the pension thing, like, why did you do it? Out of curiosity, why did you just opt out?
Because I was young, or so I thought. I'm young. Why am I going to be paying money into my pension that I'm not going to be able to touch until I'm 65 when I can have that money now and spend it? I didn't really understand or even deep the fact that your employer matches that and or compound interest. I didn't know anything about that back then. So I just thought I need that money now. I'm already paying tax. I'm paying national insurance. I'm paying student loan. I don't need that other expense as well. So if that's something I could get the money back for, I will. And that was my mindset back then for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like that was my mindset as well with pension. I was putting in the smallest amount as possible. I don't know if did I opt out? I didn't really care for it. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't care for my pension either. No, I'm being real. Like I didn't, and probably for the exact same reasons that you did as well. It's just so funny that I feel like the education is just not there about it. Like how important it is for you in later life, like not to opt out. I think they should even give you the choice to opt out.
You know what, it's so funny, You remember, I think back in 2016, I can't remember what year it was, when it became mandatory that all your employers had to opt you into it.
Yeah.
So they made me enter it. As soon as I could opt out, I opted back out of it.
Oh, wow.
I wanted my money.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's so interesting.
I don't even want to sit down and calculate how much free money I missed out on because it'll probably be a bit too painful.
But at least you're putting in money into your pension now. You know, it's important to get started right as soon as possible. So it's very, very important. So I wanted the listeners to get to know you. So could you tell them who is Tolu?
Oh my gosh, that's a deep question. Who is Tolu in all facets of life, or in terms of in coaching or money coaching?
Just generally, you.
Okay, so Tolu, I'm a wife, mother of 3 boys. So I have 3 boys, aged 6, 4. No, that's not ages. 7, 4. Oh my gosh, I'm mixing it all up. Do you know what? We just had 2 birthdays recently.
Okay.
They're actually aged 3, 5, and 7. Yeah, so I've got 3 boys, aged 3, 5, and 7. My career background is in marketing, and I recently, or not even recently now, probably the past 3-4 years, moved into the financial coaching. So I now do both. So I do marketing, that's my day job, and financial coaching, that's my night job, and that's my passion project. And other than that, I just joined the gym yesterday, so Tolu's going to be a now. Yeah, I joined the gym like back in my 20s, but I haven't been for many, many years. I think at least a good 8 years since I've been to the gym. So
really, 8 years?
Wow. Yeah, I've been a runner, so that was what I was doing up until maybe 2 years. I used to like just run around my area because that was one of the things that I was like, let me save money by just running around my area as opposed to paying for gym membership and things like that. So I did that for quite a while, running, and then I haven't been back to running. And the thought of it running now just doesn't appeal. So I was like, let me go to the gym. Maybe that will give me the
Yeah.
motivation I need to get back into health and fitness. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I don't know if that answers any of
Yeah,
the...
that does answer the question. No, it's just for the guests to get to know
Yeah.
you. Um, Interesting about the running that it doesn't do it for you, because a lot of people feel like running is boring. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't like running. To be fair, I think it's all right.
really.
It's
Oh no, I
Yeah,
actually
it's okay.
enjoyed it when I did it. I think for me at the
Okay,
moment, the idea of going out to run is more challenging. But I know once I go, I will enjoy it because I always did enjoy it
okay,
when I went. But I feel like the
okay.
motivation just left me,
It's
so
just
I have
kind
to
of
try
out
something
there. Yeah, I
different.
mean, all the energy is going into the financial coaching aspects as well.
Exactly, definitely.
Wow, wow, wow. Um, cool. That's great. And can you give us an insight into the day in life of Tolu?
Oh gosh, which day of the week? It varies day to day. I guess. So if I take you through today, my day consists of looking after the kids, so doing the school runs, dropping them off at two different places because I've got one in nursery,
Mm,
two in primary school, feeding
mhm,
them, sending them off to school, then me getting ready, going to work, coming back home from work and speaking to people like yourself. So if it's not speaking to
mhm,
you, it'll be speaking to a coaching client, or it'll be creating content
mhm.
for my YouTube channel or my blog or anything of that nature. So it's a pretty action packed day. Every single day, I have the longest to do list and I get through so much of it, but then there's always so much left. But I've come to the
Wow.
place where I've accepted that I can't do it all. So all I do is
Yeah.
just show up and try my best every day. And I go to bed with
Wow.
satisfaction knowing that that's what I've done. So yeah, every day is busy, every day is different, and you just have to roll with it.
Wow. That's crazy. It sounds like a super long day. How do you get through it? Is it exciting? Is it nerve wracking? Do you like, "Ah, this is long?"
Each day is different again. So I think this
Yeah.
week I have a bit of a spring in my step because, like I said, for the fourth
Okay.
time, I joined the gym. You can
Yeah.
tell I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's given
Okay.
me a different level of energy, like the last couple of
Yeah.
days. But if you asked me this question last week, I would have said
Mm,
I just have to do it because I have no choice. Like
mm,
I have
mm.
all these hats that I have to juggle. I just get on
Yeah.
with it. And yeah, it's not easy. There's times when I'm like literally whining to my friends, like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. It's so hard. This
Mm,
isn't working.
mm,
That isn't working. But you
mm.
just dust yourself off and you just keep going. And that's kind of how I
Yeah.
get through life.
That's good. No, it's good. It's good to just be able to just keep coming back, and just
Mm,
have the motivation and the dedication to just keep doing things, because it is hard to, like, your mother, your wife, you have your full-time job, your content creator as well, and a coach. So yeah, it is definitely difficult to do it, but I'm sure that you are reaping the rewards from it, as well, which is good. But I wanted to take it back a little bit, and wanted to understand, like, your origin story. So where are your parents from?
oh, I'm Nigerian. So yeah, my parents,
You're
mum and dad are both Nigerian.
Okay, cool. Particular tribe in
Oh, don't
Nigeria?
ask me that because I'm gonna sound like I sound so bad that I don't know where I'm from. No, I need to go back and ask my mum because someone asked me this question the other day and I still
Did
didn't
they?
know the answer. Yeah, and I was just like, it's either Osun State or Ogun State.
Yeah.
One of the two
Okay.
where my parents are from.
Okay.
I just don't know which one it
Okay.
is. So I need to go to my
Okay.
mum to find out. But yeah, I'm from one of them.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I used to be like that too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I never, not that I wasn't interested. We never really spoke about. I knew my
Mm,
mum's side, but my dad's side I didn't really know. And then I, people kept on asking me as I was getting older. I was like, okay, cool. I need to actually know this, because
mm,
I keep on getting asked this all the time. And yeah, I just learned it, and now I just write it down. So if I forget it, I
yeah,
won't
it's
forget it
so
now, because
important.
like,
So what are you?
so Ogbia and
Wow,
Igbo.
never heard of it.
Yeah, so
Oh,
my,
you know,
my mom's
okay.
from Anambra State. Yeah. So my mom's from Anambra, and I'm also, she's a mix though. She's Nigerian and Sierra
Ooh,
Leonean,
break it up.
and then my dad's Nigerian. Yeah, so it's a bit of
I
a
don't know if
mix.
you can still hear me, but you've
Let me see.
frozen.
Oh no,
Ah,
I
okay, you're
lost you
back.
again. Okay, there you go. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. All
You were
right,
saying
okay, cool.
Anambra
I'll
State.
move. Yeah. So yeah, so my mum's, yeah, from Anambra State. Yeah, so I've never been to either of them. Yeah,
Oh, wh-
I would
but
like
you've been
to.
to
I would
Nigeria,
like
or
to
you
go.
haven't been at all.
I've been to Nigeria, yeah, a few
Okay.
times. Yeah, just not been to the village yet. So
Yeah.
village is on my radar. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Were you born and raised here in UK, Nigeria,
Yeah. I was born and raised in Southeast London. So yeah.
Southeast London? Aye, yes, fellow Southeast Londoner. I love that. I love that. What was it like growing up in Southeast London? Do you like it?
Oh yeah,
Do
why
you
you do
not
your
like
face like that?
it?
Yes, I loved it. What?
I'm not doing my face like nothing. I'm just asking. I'm from South. I've lived in South
I
my whole
know,
life.
but
Grew
your
up from
face is
uni,
like,
so
you like it? I'm like, yeah, I did. I loved South London. Peckham to
I'm
be
trying to be
precise.
fair. I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to like stereotype it because so people have say stuff about South
Experience.
London, and I'm like,
No,
yeah.
no,
No,
I loved it.
yeah, you liked it growing up, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was entertaining. There was every day was something different. There was always drama. It was just When you're young, it's exciting. Now looking
Yeah.
back, I'm like flipping out. Like I nearly died so many times, but at the time it was fun.
Okay, that's crazy. That's
I had
crazy.
fun.
That's crazy. Oh my god. And then like school, college wise, did you go to college? Did you do apprenticeship work or university? What was that like for you?
I'm Nigerian. Is that even an option? Like university is the only part of course. You go to school, you go to college, you go to university, you get your degree, you get your husband. That's how it works. Well, that was the
Oh
path that my mom told me I had to take anyway. But yeah, no. I went to college. I went to where did I go? SFX. I went to SFX
my god.
college, and then went to university in Birmingham, Aston
Mm-hmm.
University, and then
Yeah, my sister went there actually. Yeah,
Oh
she went to
really?
Aston as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
she liked it.
Do
And
business.
then she did no, she did psychology
Okay, okay.
there. Yeah, she did psychology. And what did you study in
Marketing.
university? Marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. Why marketing though? What made you
Listen.
want to go into marketing?
Okay, gosh, I've never said any of this on a podcast. You ask good questions, but no.
Mm,
I in secondary school basically I didn't get the grades that I wanted to get for my
okay.
GCSE. So with
Mhm.
SFX they had very high entry criterias for you to get in
Mhm.
to do certain subjects. So what I wanted to do was psychology, sociology, and
Mhm.
English, but I didn't get the grades.
Mhm.
So the
Okay.
options were limited. I was able to get into the business studies course and a couple of other courses which were not the greatest.
Mhm.
So then from
Mhm.
there my options were narrowed. So it's like, okay, what am I now going to go and do at university? And business studies, of all the modules that I did, marketing was the one that was the most interesting. I was like, okay, let me go and
Okay.
specialize in that. And that's kind of how I ended up down there. So I didn't know anything about
Okay.
marketing before going to
Mhm.
college and studying business. But yeah, I found that module the most interesting, especially marketing psychology. That was really interesting module at university, like
Wow.
understanding how people buy or why people buy and the decision
Mhm.
making process that people go through. So yeah, that's how
Wow.
I ended up in marketing.
Wow, that is so interesting, and it's a little bit crazy at the time as well. Funny enough, I went to SFX, but I don't really talk about it. But I
Why?
flopped. I flopped because I flopped. I lasted a year and I was out.
Oh, you was one of those ones, yeah.
Yeah, I was
So
one of
many
those
people
ones.
start in
Yeah,
the first year, and not many people are there in the second. Yeah.
yeah. I was not. It wasn't that I wasn't academically gifted or any of that. No, it was just
Right.
application, applying
Yeah.
myself. I just didn't
Right.
really apply myself for a few years at college. But yeah, no, I wanted to say like it's kind of interesting that they really restrict you at such a young age in terms of grades.
Mm,
When to me, I don't think that's how it should be. You should allow people to be able to explore things for as long as possible, even up to the
true.
uni level, because you might want to change what you're doing. You
Mm,
might do a degree, you're like, oh, you know what, I don't like this. I want to do a master in something else. Um, I don't think that college is a prerequisite for you to be able to study a particular course at uni. That's crazy to me.
no,
Like, I
it's so
don't know
right.
why.
I never thought of it that way
Yeah,
actually, but it is so true
yeah,
because in school, your teachers will tell you
mm,
GCSEs are like the foundation; they're going to shape your future. But I don't think I really
yeah,
deeped how real that was. But those
mm,
GCSEs literally were
mm,
the catalyst for where I then ended up being able to go. Like
yeah,
me not getting the
mm,
A's and B's that I needed to get just kind of limited my choices, like you said, and I
yeah.
ended up on a completely different path to the one that I had planned for myself. Because in primary
Okay.
school, I don't know if your primary school did that, but we had a
Mm,
yearbook where we wrote. No, not
mm,
even primary school. Sorry, secondary school. We had a yearbook where we wrote what we wanted to be when we grow up,
mm.
and mine was a child psychologist because that's how passionate I was about
Okay.
studying it. So the fact that I didn't even get a chance to pursue it was a bit sad,
Mm.
actually.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like crushing people's dreams because
Yeah,
of like
at a
grades.
young
It's
age.
mad. It's mad. Maybe I'll do an episode on that.
It's such. I've never thought of it until you just said that, and it's so true.
Yeah,
Isn't it? So
it's
young to
crazy. No, it's
like boxed
crazy.
in at that age. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I know now that they're trying to like improve it, like with apprenticeships and stuff like that. But even back then, I remember apprenticeships are like kind of looked down on, which is again crazy to me. It's like when you realize all this stuff, you're like, wait, hold on, like all your misconceptions are,
Mm.
yeah, no, it's mad. Okay, so you did marketing, and then what was like your first role like after university?
Oh gosh, that was quite sad. My first role
Mm.
was not in marketing or anything I wanted to do. I
Okay.
graduated in 2008, and that was when the
Mm.
credit crunch hit. So it was like jobs were few and
Ah.
far between. So yeah, I found it very hard to get my first graduate role, and it was a very sad time
Mm.
because it's like I spent all this money on this degree, and I can't get a
Mm.
graduate job. But yeah,
Yeah.
eventually I managed to get a marketing role. In fact, I've had
Mm.
two. So yeah, I went to work. Where did I go? Oh, they were an IT company, or IT job board.
Mm.
That was my first
Mm.
graduate role. And I did like event
Okay.
marketing for them. And then I went on to my next place where I just was made redundant from a year or two ago. And I was there way too
Mm.
long. In hindsight, I was there for like 10 years in marketing.
10 years.
I got way too comfortable. Way too comfortable.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Why do you think that why would you say way too comfortable? Yeah,
Because
yeah.
10 years in the same job is not a good idea.
Mm.
I would never advise anybody to stay in the same position for that many years
Mm.
because when I think of how many pay rises I could have had I have job switched,
Mm.
it makes me very sad. I'm like, well, I was missing out on a
Yeah,
lot of money because of comfortability and convenience.
yeah,
Not good.
yeah. It's interesting because, like, I would say the generation before us, that's what they normally did, right?
Job
They just
security,
stayed in
right?
companies for a long
Hmm.
time. Yeah, yeah. They stayed for a long time. It was normal for them to just stay in a job for 10 years, 15 years,
Yeah,
20
yeah,
years. That's just the normality of it. Okay, wow.
yeah.
And how did you feel like? Because you said that like you got made redundant. Was that like a shock? Like, what is going on here? Because marketing to me is a key skill. How you getting rid of your marketing? That's how you make money.
Yeah, no, but they didn't get rid of the whole marketing department. They just got rid of some of
Okay.
us. So the company I worked for
Okay.
was a really big company. So the marketing department,
Mm.
there was about 60 of us in marketing. So it was a
Oh
travel
wow. Okay.
company as well. So obviously when COVID
Oh
hit,
okay.
travel was not happening anymore. So they had to like make massive
Mm.
redundancies. So they got rid of loads of people.
Wow.
But it was still sad, and it was a realization that job security is a myth because you'd think, oh
Mm.
yeah, 10 years, I'm safe, I'm secure. But no, you're just a payroll number.
Yeah. That's oh wow. Sorry to hear about that. I mean, I'm saying sorry because that was in the past. You're good now, right? I'm
I'm more than
assuming.
good
Yeah.
now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're more than good now. Yeah, it's crazy because like COVID is so mad because some people benefited from it. Like if you were working from home and all of that sort of stuff, like the benefits of it, you got to work from home, you got more time with your family, things like that. And then the flip side of it, some people lost their jobs.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it was a shock for a lot of people. But then at the same time, you have nothing to spend on, so you're saving up all of
True.
this money because there's nothing to really spend on. How did you sort of cope during that COVID time with the job? Were you already at a position where you were great with your budgeting and all of that sort of stuff? So it's like, you know what? Okay, I've lost my job, but I've got an emergency fund. I'm good here. I'm good there.
Yeah, so I actually got made redundant on maternity leave. So I was just coming back to work from maternity leave, and then I didn't actually
What
get
kind
to
of
work. So I
company
was
is
furloughed
this?
straight away, and then I was furloughed for I think 3 months
Mm,
it was at the time, and then made redundant. So I never actually came back
okay.
from maternity leave. But the
Okay.
company I worked for, the maternity pay was statutory, and if you know anything about statutory maternity pay, it's not a lot of money. So we were already in a position where we were living on my husband's income solely anyway. So
Mm,
the little money that I was getting from my employer that stopped after like 9 months. So for the final 3 months, I was on zero pay. And then I was furloughed getting 90% of my pay, which was like extra money, which we were just saving up. And then
mm,
obviously I got a redundancy pay. So that was extra money that we were able to save. So it didn't actually
mm,
impact us financially as it would have
hmm.
if it happened 4 years prior when I was in all that debt.
Okay.
If it happened back then, mate, we would have been finished.
Yeah.
Finished.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the problem, right? And we're gonna go touch onto this. This is like some of the consequences of like. Oh, no, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry.
My friend on
It's
silent.
okay.
Oh gosh. Okay. I thought I put it on silent. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, that's fine. So this is one of the things with the financial thing, and it's not about like a lot of people when we we're not shouting because none of us shout on social media, but when we say just look, just make sure you got your emergency fund, just make sure that you're looking after your finances and all these things. It's just for these unexpected situations that you just don't expect, right? Nobody expects for COVID to happen. Nobody expects for some kind of craziness to happen or to be made redundant or any of that, right? But just in case it happens, we got a cushion and
Have
we're
a
good.
backup plan.
We're
Yeah.
good with it. Exactly. So wow. Wow. Very resilient. You're very resilient.
No, I
Man.
just thank God that it happened when it happened because yeah, like I said, if it
Yeah.
happened years ago, my days it would have been peak. It would have been very peak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Maternity these days doesn't even sound like some of the pay doesn't even sound like it's even that good. Right now they don't even give the benefits not that great.
No,
Some of
my
them.
last company was the worst. But I know some people that work at places they get like 6 months full pay or 3 months full pay.
Wow.
Mine was like what 6 weeks half pay or something stupid like that. So yeah.
That's nuts. That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's no. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so I wanted to move on into your debt story because I remember hearing it at the event that we were speaking to together, and yeah, it was a really great story, and I felt really inspired about it, which is why I wanted to get you on to talk about it.
Sure.
Um, so how did you actually get into debt? I know because
Of
I was
course, yeah, you
watching
were
it, but for
there.
the listeners, yeah, but for the listeners,
Okay. My debt story. So the way we got into debt was when we bought our first home. So
hmm
we had saved up all the money we needed for all the house expenses, such as stamp duty, surveyor
hmm
fees, the actual deposit, etc. But what we hadn't factored into the budget was costs of renovations, and that's because we didn't think we were
hmm
gonna have to do any to the property that we had found.
hmm
And there just ended up being a big delay between when we had our offer accepted and when we got the keys. It was about a year lag in between, and during
wow,
that time a lot of damage was done to the property to the point that the kitchen roof was caving in, the house was just literally falling apart. And because at the time, if you know about house prices, they rise so quickly,
hmm
so we couldn't even afford to say let's start looking again because we would have been out,
hmm
we wouldn't be able to afford anything close to what we got for that money. So we was like, okay, let's just take it and then we'll just fix it up. So we took the property and we had a master plan about how we was gonna refurbish the property. We said we'll take out a bank loan, use that bank
hmm
loan to do up the property, and then get tenants in to live with us, basically lodgers, and then they would offset that cost of that loan, and we'll just concentrate on paying the mortgage. And that was our financial plan at the time. But what ended up happening is the first loan we took out wasn't enough to cover all the costs, so then we had to take out a further loan. And then in addition to that, I think once you get into that cycle of debt, it's just easy to take on more debt. And we then
hmm
started putting things on a credit card, so the house had to be furnished. All of that went on the credit card. In that time as well, we went on holiday. Don't ask me why, but we had to go on that trip. It was a family trip
okay,
we had to be on. So we went on
mm,
that trip and put that on all on the credit card. And yeah, our debt just spiraled out of control.
wow, wow, that's yeah. I can see how that could happen, and I
Mm.
remember saying that to you um, at the event as well, and yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, what would you have done differently, knowing what you know now?
That's a brilliant
Yeah.
question, actually. What would you have done differently? I think we overextended ourselves in terms of the
Okay.
refurbishment. Like
Mm,
because it's our first home together, we want everything nice and perfect. So
mm,
no expenses were spared. So taking out the loan in itself probably wasn't a bad idea, but we
mm,
took out way too much money. So we took
mm,
out more debt than we needed to take out. And then obviously all the
mhm.
credit cards and all of that stuff. We wouldn't have done all of that. We would have just managed, moved our stuff in, slept on the floor until we could afford a bed,
Yeah.
sit on the floor until we could afford a sofa, and just kind of build it up that way slowly. Whereas we
Okay.
just wanted everything perfect from the get go. I'm spending
Okay.
£3,000 on carpet when I have no money.
Mm.
What are you doing? But
Okay. Okay.
but
Okay.
that's the kind of stuff
Yeah, I
we
hear
do.
that.
So I think that we just did too much. Like, yes, the kitchen roof was falling down. We could have got that
Mm,
repaired and still used the kitchen, but no, we
mhm.
took that opportunity to gut the whole kitchen. So it was just yeah, we did
Okay.
too much too soon. So I think yeah, in
Okay.
hindsight, we would have just not taken on too much debt, and all the other credit cards and stuff and all of that just wouldn't have happened. We would have just yeah lived
Okay.
within our means and also created a budget, because back then, what was a budget? We didn't even know what that
Mm,
was. We just kind of
mm,
were spending money recklessly, really, I could say. Like,
mm.
Yeah, because we thought we couldn't afford to keep up with all these debt repayments, but reality was we were just wasting money on things we didn't realize we were wasting money on. But I think, yeah, in hindsight, I definitely would have created a budget and had a proper plan in place, but we didn't have one at the time.
Okay, okay, wow, that's super, super insightful. It is very, very interesting because the house thing is. I'm not into renovations yet, but I've been thinking about renovations, and the misconception you think is, oh, it's not going to be that bad. You can just buy a broke down property. You can take out some money and you'll be good. But then, like you said, you don't even foresee that actually, is this sale going to even go through? What's if I'm having to wait a year, 18 months, 2 years, right? The worst case kind of scenario. Then you're just like holding the bag,
Hmm.
waiting. And then you just got all this debt as well. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how things can just like spiral out of control very,
Absolutely.
very quickly.
Yeah, so what I would
Um,
say, oh, sorry, before you go to this, I was just going to say
yeah.
that's the importance of having a plan A and a plan B. Because I
Mm,
think another
mm,
big mistake that we made is that we didn't have a plan B. So we had this plan that we
mm.
were going to get lodgers that were going to come and stay in the house and pay off those loans for us. But
Okay.
okay, what if you can't get lodgers? What's your next plan? Before you go and take out
Okay.
this debt, how is this going to be paid
Mm.
if your plan A doesn't work? Whereas, yeah, we didn't think that far. We didn't think it was
Wow. Wow.
like
Did you get
that.
the lodgers in the end?
No, we didn't. That's what I'm saying. So that
Oh.
was a big part of
Oh.
why things went wrong because we didn't get these lodgers. So on top of
Oh
now paying
man.
this new mortgage, we're having to pay off those loans for ourselves. So it was just, yeah, our expenses were just out of control.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. That's crazy. That is mad. Yeah, I like that. Plan A. If plan A fails, plan B fails, plan
Hmm.
C,
Yeah.
D. How many plans would you say people should have? Like just two, three?
I mean, three would be a good starting point for sure. I'd say
Yeah.
have a plan A, B, and C. But I mean, if you can get
Okay.
all the way to Z, then why not?
Yeah, yeah. in it. You get to plan C, you'll be covered. You'll be proper covered, man.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. How did you feel going through that situation? Like, did it bother you? Were you aware of it? Because, like, the only reason why I asked is because when I was in there, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think anything of it.
Really? Oh no.
Yeah, no, like, it was like, I don't think I deeped it
Mhm. Was that
because
because it
it's
was
like,
affordable?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not like I was living on the street or anything, or I couldn't
Mm.
afford to eat,
Yeah.
or I could still live my life
Yeah.
per se.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, not to say that it didn't affect my life, because it kind of does, right? Because it's you're building up interest, but yeah, it didn't really do anything to me per se, right?
Yeah.
So I think I just didn't recognize. Okay, yeah, I've got all these charges coming into my bank account, and my overdraft is growing bigger. I'm living in it, and all this money in a credit card. But I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm
I
not.
can still buy what I need to buy. I can still go where I need to go. I can still.
Yeah, I was just nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like that. And that's probably because of the lack of education, right? I
Oh,
didn't
we lost you again.
really care. Yeah. Oh, I lost you again.
Okay, you're back.
Oh, okay, you're back. Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really didn't care at the time. So yeah, I was just wondering how you felt at the time.
Yeah, you see, so I was similar to you for a while because when we
Mm,
was taking all that debt initially, it was fine because that's why we were getting more and more debt because we were able
mm,
to afford it. But I think when it got to the point that it was no longer affordable, that's when it became an
mm.
issue. When it's like, okay, the mortgage is due today, the bank's trying to take the money, there's no money there to take. It's like, okay,
Okay, yeah.
listen, your life savings you put into this house, you're about to lose it. You need to do something about it. So I think, yeah,
Mm,
it definitely became real after I'd say when it came to the points that we were no longer able to keep up with our mortgage payments. That's when it started to really affect me and affect my husband as well. Because it's like, okay, what are we actually going to do about this situation? But
mm,
for a long time, we ignored it. We didn't talk about
mm,
it. So even when we did realize how bad it was to begin with, we just didn't talk about it because it's like that.
mm,
That elephant in the room. It's like, okay, this is
mm,
bad. What are we going to do about it? But we just pretending we can't see this elephant, just ignoring it
mm.
because it's too painful to have to face it head on, right? So, yeah, we did that for a while until it just became, yeah, we had to do something about it. We had no choice anymore.
Why do you feel people are like scared to talk about it? Like talk about debt and being in debt and
Because I think there's many reasons, to be fair. There's many layers to it, I would say, in terms of people not wanting to talk about debt. I think it's the embarrassment. I think it's the
Mm.
shame of it, because you just think, I'm an adult. I should know how to manage my money. I should know what to
Mhm.
do. Even though nobody's taught
Mhm.
you, you've never been given the tools. You just think, I should know because everybody else knows. Because
Mhm.
everybody else is presenting themselves in a certain way. You think that you're the only
Mhm.
one in that position that doesn't know
Mm.
what they're doing. Whereas, no, a
Mhm.
lot of people are in the same position doing exactly what you're doing. So it's a vicious cycle. So I think there's that. I think it's the image that we want people to have of us, and the perception we want people to have
Mhm.
of us. So when we was in debt, for example, speaking for myself, I I presented myself as if everything was fine. So family,
Mm.
friends, I was still going out, I was still doing all the normal things with my friends. No one knew what was going on back home. And I didn't want people to know, because I wanted them to think I was okay and I knew what I was doing. So I
Mhm.
think, yeah, keeping up appearances is a big thing, and people want to just
Mm.
and that they've got things together when they really don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, right? Because I feel like if we all spoke more about it, then
Mm.
we'd realize that more people are in debt,
Yeah,
and it's not a shameful. It's nothing to be
not a
ashamed
shameful
of.
thing,
You
no.
know. I mean, you get out. You take. Okay, I know a mortgage is not called a debt, but a mortgage is a form of kind of debt, and that's
Mm,
normalized, and that's seen
exactly.
as a celebration. And
Yeah, yeah,
oh, you
yeah.
got your own
True, actually.
property, right? You know, like let's be real. It's the truth, right? So there's no shame with that. But when it's consumer debts, people are
Yeah.
like, bruh, how are you in, like, you've got your reasons as to why. That's
Mm,
it. And all you should be hearing is support of how you can get
exactly.
out if
I
that's what
think
you're
it's the
trying to do
judgment
or
that people
whatever,
think.
right? There's different facets to it. So yeah, very, very interesting. What steps did you take to get yourself out of debt?
Oh gosh. So steps that we took was, first of
Mm,
all, it was the talking about it and just accepting that we were in a bad position. So my husband came
mm,
across a book a book called The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey.
okay.
And in that book,
Okay.
he basically outlines the 10 steps, 7 steps, sorry, to financial freedom. And in that
Mm,
book, he basically gives loads of examples of people that were in a lot of debt. And in America, their debt is different to our debt because they have student loan debt,
mm,
are high interest. So they were
yeah.
paying off like $100,000, $200,000, like crazy amounts in like a few years. And so that just gave us the encouragement that, okay, if they've done it, we can maybe do it too. So we
Mm-hmm,
literally started to follow his baby steps. The first step that we took was saving our £1,000 emergency fund. So we were
mm-hmm,
used to, up until that point, kind of putting any emergency expense we would put on a credit card. So getting that discipline
mm-hmm,
in place to kind of say no, we're going to save up for an emergency so that we can use our own money to pay for it. That was a good habit that we developed there. And then it was the paying off the debt using the debt snowball. Now, the debt snowball method, for those that don't know, is basically where you write all your debts from the smallest to the largest, and you tackle the
mm-hmm,
first one first. So pay as much as you can towards the first debt and the minimum payments on all the rest. Once the first one
mm-hmm,
is cleared, you then put all that extra money onto the second one, and you keep doing it until it snowballs and you've paid it all down. In terms of the debt snowball, the way we were able to even do that, we had to create a budget. So that's something we've never done before. And before creating a budget, even, we had to look back at our expenses. So that's another thing we did. We had to look back at where our money had been going for the past 6 months or so, and that was just a shock to the system, because that's
yeah.
when we realized that actually we don't have an income problem, we have a spending problem, because it wasn't that we weren't earning enough, we just were spending all the money that we had on things that we didn't need to be spending it on. So once we paid the mortgage, once we paid the loans, etc., where's all the rest of the money going? It was going to
Mm,
the wrong places. So that's kind of what we had to do. Really get on a tight budget, get on a spending plan, and be like, okay, we're going to prioritize paying down the debt, and we're going to pay all our bills, and then we're going to live on beans and toast until we pay this debt.
mm.
And yeah, no more Heinz beans either. It was Aldi baked beans. So we kind of,
Wow. I like Aldi baked beans.
I know. That's all I eat now. Like
Yeah,
literally.
I like Aldi baked beans. Shout, big up Aldi.
No,
That's my
seriously.
place, boy.
I've been shouting
Yeah,
them out so much. I need to get sponsored. But
yeah.
yeah, Aldi beans are
Hey, do
nice.
it, do it, do it.
Oh, the beans are nice. I literally did a price comparison the
Yeah,
other day. Yeah, the multi pack of Heinz beans is £3
yeah.
to £3.50, depending on where you buy it from. Yeah,
Okay,
Aldi
yeah.
beans is £1 for the multi pack. So just do the
There you
maths.
go.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
Exactly.
just brand switching like that. Things like that is what we
Yeah.
did to kind of free up money, and it was just finding smart ways to make our money
Okay.
stretch, and then also earning
Okay.
extra money as well. So like my husband, he was working overtime non-stop. I was side hustling,
Mm,
and we just had to
mm.
attack it aggressively.
Wow, wow. You mentioned something there, and this is a great tips. I really, really love the steps that you mentioned. So you talked about emergency funds, you talked about debt snowball, including budgeting as well, which I think are all important things that you need that are like essential. If you don't have any of those, if you don't have an understanding of that or have any of those techniques in your toolkit, I think you're going to really struggle no matter how much money you're earning, like it's gonna be a struggle. You've got people who are earning more than six figures that still struggle badly. So yeah, it's crazy. You mentioned brand switching earlier. What is that? What's brand switching?
Oh, brand switching. So that's literally
Mm,
like the example I gave with the Heinz baked
mm,
bean is switching
mm,
from the luxury food brands to more
mm,
affordable or
mm,
store brand items. So like Tesco
mm,
has its basic range and they have even levels
mm,
of their basic range as well. So
mm,
yeah, so just switching out the brand. So maybe instead of buying Kellogg's cereal, you can buy Aldi cereal. Now that's something I don't
mm.
actually do because I don't like the taste of their cereal. I have to be honest. That's one thing I can't
Ah,
do. But everything else I
yeah,
can deal with in
yeah,
Aldi. But their cereal
yeah,
just does not taste the same. Only the
yeah.
porridge. So I do their porridge instead of Quaker oats. So like Quaker, obviously that's a big brand, but Aldi has a basic porridge which tastes the same. Whereas like their
Yeah.
cornflakes is just a bit weird to me. But if you can't taste the
Is that
difference,
your go-to cornflakes?
no, I just give it as an example. Actually, no, my go-to
Okay,
is what's my go-to cereal? Porridge is actually my go-to, but I've
okay,
tried
okay.
to get like for the kids, get them the Rice Krispies, and I've got them the
Yeah.
crunchy nut, and I've tasted it, and nah, man, the crunchy nut is bad. It's bad. Yeah, no, I tasted the cornflakes for my kids one, like the Aldi version, and it just does not taste right at all. Like, you could taste the
Okay.
difference. So if I was to do a blind food taste, I could taste the difference between the Aldi cornflakes and the Kellogg's one, and I think that's where
Mm,
you should draw the line. So a lot of times we're
mm,
loyal to the brand and we think that it's
mm,
better, but it's not better. It's just that you're used to the
mm,
name. So like with the baked beans, for example, I know I keep going back to the baked beans, but it's
mm,
because for
mm.
years I'd always brought Heinz baked beans because I thought that that
Yeah.
was the best one. But when I tasted the
Mm,
Aldi one and I was broke, I realized actually it
yeah.
tastes fine. So yeah,
Yeah.
brand switching will save you so much money on your grocery shop for sure.
Yeah. I wish people could do that with Gucci,
Oh,
Fendi. Ah, right.
yeah, no. So I
Uh,
was talking to a client about this just the other day, actually. So we were talking about brands because she likes to
mm,
buy luxury items because
mm,
she likes the quality, right? So I was
mm,
trying to get her to understand that yes, the quality probably the different. So let's say for example, I get the quality argument that you pay
mm,
more for quality
mm,
items, right? But
mm,
let's say one item's here, oh, there, one item's here, and the quality one's there. But then you're paying that extra for the brand name,
mm,
right? So it's not that
mm,
you're getting an extra quality item and that's why it's costing £1,000. No, that £900 on top is the name that you're paying
mm.
for. It's not because it's
Yeah.
any much better quality than the hundred
Mm,
pound handbag. See what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah, that brand
Yeah.
switching, nah, miss me with that.
Crazy. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
it's actually crazy. That ties us nicely into spending impulsively. Why do you think people spend impulsively? Because you actually just mentioned an example of that brand. Is there any other reasons why people spend impulsively?
Yeah, impulse spending can be anything. So you can be an emotional spender. So I know
Mm,
I was that kind of person, but emotional in terms of I'm bored. What should I do? Let me spend
mm.
money. That's how I was.
Okay.
Oh, what should I do today? Let me just go window shopping, and that window
Yeah.
shopping will mean I leave that shop with some bags in my hand
Mm,
because you just have to do that. So I think yeah, that can be a big part of it. I think impulse purchasing as well is just because people don't take time to think enough. I think it's just
mm,
you just do it without giving it a second thought. So you do things on autopilot. I feel like social media as well has a part to play on impulse spending
mm-hmm,
because influencers always like, oh yeah, buy this toothpaste or buy this
mm.
whatever, and then before you know it, you've tapped and you bought it without even giving it a second thought. Like I don't need this toothpaste. I got toothpaste in my cupboard, but because this person told me I need to buy it, now you have to buy it. So I think yeah, people just are just impulsive in by nature, I guess, and yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's why.
Wow, that's so interesting. No, it's true. It's true. I don't window shop. I don't even bother because I'm not that type. I don't like that. If I'm going to shop, I'm shopping. I'm not. Why am I walking around? No,
Yeah,
no, I'm buying, bruv. Like,
yeah.
yeah. It
And you
doesn't
know what
work
you're
with me.
buying
I
as
can't do
well,
it.
right?
yeah, I'm gonna. If I like something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. It's very hard for me to be somewhere and be like, I'm not getting it in anything, whether it's snacks, whether pizza. Like if I'm saying I'm not gonna eat pizza, you're not gonna catch me in the pizza shop because I'll buy it. I
Oh,
can't
okay,
just be
okay.
there and be like, oh yeah, I'm there with somebody. I'll buy mine because I like it. So yeah, I can't do window shopping. But what are the consequences of spending impulsively from your point of view?
What it doesn't help when you have a budget in it. When you're an impulse shopper, it kind of blows your
Mm,
budget or throws your numbers out of
mm,
sync. So you end up wasting money on things that are not even important to you. So I think when
mm,
you're impulsive, you have just a short term view and you don't really look at the
mm,
bigger picture. So that short term decision you've made is going to have a detrimental effect potentially on your future plans. And I think that's a big
mm.
issue when it comes to being impulsive with your spending because, yeah, you're robbing your future self basically, in a sense, is
Yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, yeah, exactly what you said. But a lot of people don't see it like that. Like they're robbing their future self. They just think it. I've got the money. Let me spend it now, and that's it.
Yeah, I get that argument all the time, and I hear that, I could die tomorrow, so why do I need to be thinking about myself? Like, my future self may
Why
not
are
be here.
people so negative?
I know,
Why
right?
are people so negative, man?
I've heard that so many
In
times.
any other, yeah. I'll die. What if I die tomorrow? Really? Is that what we're saying to each other?
Yeah, but it's a cop out, really, isn't it? Because you don't want to deal
Yeah,
with the situation that you're in right now. But
exactly,
I think that
exactly.
impulsiveness is just, yeah, it's robbing your future self. Like, you could achieve so much more and be so much further ahead
Mm,
in all areas of your life just by being less impulsive. So not even just when it comes to your
mm,
finances. I think just in general, having an impulse nature is
mm,
always going to be
mm.
detrimental.
Yeah. And how can somebody stop themselves in terms of spending?
Yeah, I think one way you can stop being impulsive is to just know what your vices are and know what your triggers are. So for me, for example,
Mm,
I know that when I'm bored, I spend money, I go shopping,
mm,
I go browsing, I go window shopping, and then I end up spending money. So if you know that you're
mm,
that kind of person, then don't go window shopping when you're bored. Instead, think, what can I do when I feel bored? Let me read a book, let me exercise, let me spend time with my
mm,
friends or call somebody.
mm,
Let me find something else to
mm,
do during that bored
mm,
time. I think also being realistic with yourself. I think a lot of
mm,
times we lie to ourselves, and lying to yourself is where you end up making these mistakes financially. So,
mm,
you know what I mean? Like you saying, oh yeah, like what you just identified actually with the whole pizza shop
mm,
thing, right? You know
mm,
yourself that if you're going to the
mm,
pizza shop, you're going to buy that pizza. So why are you
mm-hmm.
going to that pizza shop? Just stay in your house, don't
Exactly.
go. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's,
Stay in your
yeah,
house.
but people deceive themselves and like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the restaurant. I'm just gonna get tap water and order a starter. You're not gonna do it. You're gonna see your friends eating their 3 course meals, and
Yeah.
you're gonna end up buying it. So I think just
Yeah.
being realistic and, yeah, knowing what
Yeah.
your triggers are and not lying to yourself will help you
Yeah.
combat that
Hundred
impulsiveness. And I
percent.
think also another thing that
Mm,
would help is to give yourself a little bit of leeway. So one thing that you can
mm-hmm.
do is in your budget have an impulse fund. Yeah, impulse spending.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Impulse
You
fund.
could do
Yeah.
that. So maybe £50, £100, no judgment,
Mm,
whatever it is you can afford within your budget that you can be like, okay, if I
mm,
just feel like buying something just for the sake of it, this is the money allocated. So even though it's an impulsive spend, it's still planned
mm,
for. So
yeah.
you can still, I guess, what's the word, satisfy that urge, but
Mm.
it's it's within boundaries, and I think, yeah, that could help.
Okay, okay, wow, that's so interesting. You said something. I was thinking about it. Like, I went out with a few of my friends last week, and the one thing people always say, when you don't want to drink alcohol, oh, I'm just gonna have one drink. Why you at a
Hmm.
bar, please? Who goes to a bar to get one
Get
drink? That
one
don't
drink.
make no sense. Like, it's true. You just gotta be honest with yourself. Just stop lying to yourself. Like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I'm going to a restaurant not to eat. All right, why are you here?
no, I'm not doing it because I've been that person a couple of times in the past,
Yeah.
and it's happened twice. I've said I'm gonna go.
Mm,
I'm only getting a starter. I haven't been
mm,
able to do that, so I'm not doing it anymore. Why am I
mm.
gonna keep doing the
Yeah.
same thing again and expecting a
Yeah.
different result? No, if
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have the money to
It's just
enjoy it, I'm not going.
exactly because it's you're there with your friends. You're enjoying the time. you're not gonna restrict yourself to be like you're seeing everybody else munching their main meal. You're there,
Your
your
salads. It's
starters.
like,
Like,
oh yeah,
yeah,
I'm not hungry. No, you're not gonna do that.
no way. Honestly, like, yeah, it's, it's it's so funny. I was wondering, in terms of like spending impulsively, does financial goals help you in any way? In terms of that, does it stop you maybe to think, okay, let me think about my financial goals?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I was saying, in terms of people having long term versus short term vision,
Mm,
when you don't have financial goals, that's when you are more
mm,
likely to do things in the moment because you're not thinking
mm,
of the bigger picture. There is no bigger picture. So, all you're thinking of is the here
mm,
and now. But if you start associating the decisions you make now with the future that you're going after, you start to think a little bit differently about the purchases you make. I always like to tell people to always count their purchases in terms of hours of their lives because yeah, especially if you work a 9 to 5, right, you're trading hours of your life for money. So it's like, okay,
mm,
this purchase that I'm making impulsively for £100 is costing me 10
mm,
hours of my life. Is it really worth it?
mm.
Kind of counting the cost
That's a
in
good
that
way to
way,
look at it.
it
Yeah.
makes you think twice
Wow.
about making certain purchases because actually nah,
Wow.
that £100, it's not worth 10 hours of my life, or that dress is not worth 10 hours of
Wow.
my life. Let me just leave it. Okay.
Wow. That's deep. When you put it like that, that is actually deep. Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah, that's true. Wow. That's really interesting. I didn't
Yeah, I
really
read that in
think
the
of it
book.
like that.
Your Money or Your Life. I like to recommend it to
Yeah.
everybody. It's such a fantastic book because that was where I heard that
Wow.
concept and I was like, that is actually mad. Like so many
Yeah.
purchases, it puts it in perspective. Like you're buying this
Mm,
bag for £1,000, bro. How many hours have you had to work to get that bag?
mm,
Is it really worth it?
mm,
You have to ask yourself,
mm,
like, if it is or is it? Some people they'll say yes, it is worth 10, 20
mm.
hours, 30 hours of my life, fine, but no. We're only here for a limited amount of time, so we want to spend it
Yeah.
wisely.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Wow. And just going back to it, what are financial goals, and can you give an example of a financial goal?
Yes, okay, financial goals. So I like to see them. So I like to make SMART financial goals. So SMART,
Mm,
for those that don't know, is acronym for specific, measurable,
mm,
achievable, realistic, and timely goals. So,
mm.
so like,
Yeah.
when I speak to clients, for example, and I ask them to give me some of their financial goals, like what they want to
Mm,
achieve within the next 12 months, and they'll tell me things like, I want to be debt free, or I want to pay off my debt, or I want to
mm,
save money. But I'm like, okay, that's a great starting point, but let's build on that. What else
mm,
do you want to do? Like, let's make that goal tangible, because when you make it tangible then you have something to measure yourself against and then you can kind of track your progress. Because if it's just saying I want to pay down some debt, okay, how much debt do you want to pay? When are you going to pay this off by? How much are you going to be paying
mm,
each time? So I think financial goals are things like, yeah, paying off debt. I want to pay off £3,000 debt by the 21st of December, and I want to pay
mm,
£200 a month. I don't know if that maths works, but whatever it is, you kind of break it down into
mm,
quantifiable bite-sized pieces that you can kind of achieve on a monthly basis. It could be saving
mm,
towards your house. How much are you saving? How much do you need for the house? And working backwards. Okay, I need a 12 grand deposit. So okay, I'm going to take 12 months to save it. Then £100 a month is how much I'm going to save towards that financial goal. So I think yeah, financial
mm,
goals are just specific financial goals that are going to set you on your journey or help you on your journey to whatever financial destination you have. So for some people, it's saving to buy a house. For some people, it's becoming debt free. For some people, it's achieving financial freedom. So the main thing is to have a financial goal. Like 5 years from today, where do you want to be financially? Okay, I want to be
mm.
here. How am I going to get there? You work backwards and create those financial goals.
Okay, okay. Wow. Love that. Love that. Smart. I love smart. That is
Yeah.
such a sick way to set your financial goals. And how can people make sure that they stick to and they achieve their financial goals?
There's many ways I'd say. So
Mm,
a good way I'd say is accountability partners. So that's where your financial coach comes in, or friends or
mm,
family, somebody that can hold
mm,
you to these goals you set yourself. Because self motivation is a myth. Like self motivation comes and goes, but I think having that person that can kind of keep you accountable, be like, oh, but you're going on holiday, but I thought you said you were saving to buy your house. Like those kind of
mm,
conversations can kind of help you stay on track for achieving those financial goals. Another thing I'd say that would help is to reward yourself on the journey. So it might be you've got a financial goal of paying down debt and you want to pay off £6,000 by the end of the year. Maybe when you've hit that first milestone of £1,000, you reward yourself. It might be a meal out, it might be theatre, whatever it might be, just something that you can feel like, yes, I've accomplished that goal and I'm rewarding myself. That gives you that motivation to now go on to the next goal of paying off the next £1,000 until you finally reach that goal. So I think, yeah, rewarding yourself on the journey will kind of help you stay the course as well.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. And how often do you think people should check to track that to make sure that they're going to meet their financial goals?
Well, for me, I would say checking fortnightly at least would be a good
Really?
benchmark. Yeah,
Okay.
fortnightly or at least monthly, checking in with those financial goals just to make sure, am I saving? What can I do differently? If I'm paying down debt, are there ways that I can accelerate that debt repayment? I think it's, if you keep your goals front of mind, you're more likely to kind of focus on them and focus on achieving them. So I think if there's too much of a lag between when you set the goal and when you act on it, you're more likely to not do it.
Very true. That's true. Yeah, if you leave it too far, yeah, you might just not be motivated, or you might just stop it at all. Yeah. What I realize works for me is routine. I realize if I'm trying to achieve something, once I get into a routine, like with content, if I do it every week without non-stop, I realize that it just becomes automatic. It's almost not like difficult for me.
Yeah.
Or if I stop for a few days, it's like it takes me a bit of time to get back into it, and I'm like, it's like energy to get back into it. Whereas like if you're doing something, we got a visitor.
Yeah, we got loads of
visitors. Oh, we got a visitor. Yeah, I feel like getting into a routine helps me to keep going. Once I snap out of routine, I feel like it takes me more energy to get back into things. Like,
true. And that's been my experience too. Yeah, when you snap out of it, same thing with the content. Literally, when I don't do it for a while, when I like miss maybe a week to get back into it, it's long.
It's hard mentally. It's just like a strain. Yeah, the momentum. I don't know. It's weird because it's not like it shouldn't be any different.
Yeah.
But mentally, your mind just like, I'm having to do work hard to do this thing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. Thank you so much. It's been great, like having you on the podcast. I like to end with this question because I asked you what was your worst financial mistake, but I want to ask you what was your greatest financial achievement.
Oh, that's a nice way to end. I'd say obviously paying down the debt. So paying off £36,000 debt was definitely one of my biggest financial achievements.
Wow, we've come full circle as well with that. That is dope.
Yeah.
So what do you have next in store for yourself?
Next, same more of what I do already. So working with clients one-to-one, coaching them, helping them on their financial journeys, setting financial goals, curbing impulse spending, and creating that money management system to help them, achieve those goals. And then in addition to that, my YouTube channel, I have been MIA since December, but I will be coming back in May.
Okay.
So by the time this podcast comes out, I should hopefully be back on YouTube. So that's definitely more content coming that way. Season 4 of Tea Money Talks will be coming soon as well. And just more sharing this financial knowledge and working with people and helping them achieve financial transformation. I love to do more events actually as well, more in-person events like speaking events, and workshops and things of that nature. That's something I definitely want to do before the year's out for sure.
Yeah, definitely do pursue that. There are lots of opportunities that way. And where can people find you?
Where can you find me? ToluFrimpong.com. That's my website. And Tolu Frimpong across all socials. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. No, not Facebook. Pinterest and Twitter. Okay,
great. Use Pinterest. Interesting.
I know, right? I don't even know why I said Pinterest. Nobody uses it. I do have Pinterest. It's great for bloggers. So, yeah.
Okay. Is it? What do bloggers do on there?
No, so people use Pinterest to find stuff. And, a lot of people use Pinterest as a search engine. So, if you pin your blogs on there, you get a lot of traffic through Pinterest. So,
Oh, wow. Didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow, you learn something new every day. That is crazy. And did you have any final words for the listeners?
Oh, final words. What I would say, I guess, if anybody's on here listening and they are in debt or their financial situation looks bleak and they think that there's no way out and they can't do anything about it, you can, like, literally, you can change your tomorrow. Your future self will definitely thank you for facing your situation head on and doing something about it. So, yeah, don't ignore your situation. If it keeps you up at night and it makes you feel anxious and you feel bad about where you are right now, don't ignore it. Do something about it. And yeah, you'll be so glad that you did.
Great, thank you. That those are fantastic and inspiring final words. I'm sure the listeners will appreciate it and listen back to this when they're in a place where they're like, you know what, I'm giving up. They can listen to this moment, and that will help them through that. Thank you so much, Tolu, for joining this episode of the podcast. It's been great having you on. It's been great hearing your story. Thank you so much for the practical tips. I've learned new stuff. This is why I love doing the podcast. I always learn something new. You know, it's not only for the listeners; it's also for me to learn as well. That's my secret motive, listeners.
Yeah.
But no, no, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to bless the listeners. I'm sure that they're going to enjoy this episode of the podcast. Listeners, I hope you do appreciate it and enjoy this episode. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.